On the agenda tonight, we're going back to 2013. We're going to be taking a look at The Cult, and they're going to be performing She Sells Sanctuary. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So let's get the guys up on screen and see how they get on. I'm just going to jump in here. As always, the link to this video is going to be in the description below, so you guys can check it out there without me interrupting it. But this is one of those songs and riffs and vocal performances that's right up my street, and there is so much that we can analyze just in this performance. So we will get into the guitar aspects of it and also the vocals, because Ian Astbury here on lead vocal has got such a unique delivery but also style of vocal, which we will explore. But also Billy Duffy on guitar. This song just starts out with that riff, and in the studio, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, this is just one of those riffs that came about because Billy had all of the effects on at the time when he went to play the riff, and it just so happened that it sounded like this, considering as well that we've just got an open D string here and we're just fretting with the first finger, third finger, also the second finger towards the end of the run on the G string. So it means that we're getting this really full sound because of the amount of effect on the guitar sound. And what you might have in the studio, if people don't play the guitar, you'll have all of your effects chained up, and you might have a reverb there, your delay, chorus, flanger, phaser, stomp box for your distortion. Whatever you might be having very much depends on the song that you're playing. So you might just trigger on the reverb and a bit of chorus if you've got a clean picking sound that you go to, and it just so happens that all of the effects were on, and that's how Billy ended up with this sound. And it just fills in so much of the frequency with all of these effects going on. So I've just busted out the guitar so that we can look at this riff in a little bit more detail, because we have the call and response element in there. It's so melodic the whole way through, and for reference we are in D here. In the video that we're looking at, they're actually detuned to D flat, but the original recording was in D, so if you want to play along with that, you'll be fine. We're starting on the 14th fret of the G, and we're playing the open D string with it, so we get that kind of sound. I haven't got all the effects on there that Billy does have. I'm just going through a little bit of distortion here. So playing through the whole first half of the riff, which is the call, it's going to sound like this. So that's our call. The response is like that. So we've got the call and response element, like I said, and all the way through. Sounds like that. So digging just a little bit deeper with this riff, the great thing is that we've got this reference point of the root note twice in the riff, and it means that we're resolving twice. So if we go down, this part of the riff here is now resolved, we've finished, and this is the end of the call section, but we've got the D followed by the D. So you just get the root note of the chord, which is a D, twice. So that's going to be our home bass. So we've already really established that that is home. That's where the resolution is going to happen. When we then go, we return home to the same place, even though we went to a different location on the journey on those next two bars of the riff. Another thing I just quickly want to touch on is the importance of accents in the rhythm here, because we are playing in 4/4. That is our time signature, which means we just get 4 beats to the bar and you can tap your foot along to it. But the really important thing about the guitar is the accents, the rhythm, the way that it's being played by Billy. And you will find this kind of rhythm in a lot of rock and hard rock tracks where the rhythm really motors along. And to give you an example, if you are playing through the time signature and counting along, I'm going to try and make this simple. If you imagine counting in 3s and putting an accent on the first of the 3. So if I'm playing through, the rhythm's going to be the open D string, and I'm holding down the D with my first finger on the 7th fret of the G. And also you can throw in that little finger up at the top there, which Billy does as well, and that's 10th fret of the B string if you want to know what that is. But having this, straight away there's an accent in there, which means that every other accent is on the offbeat. And let me try and explain it. So we're counting in 3s. We're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And on that last part, I'm accenting on 1 and 3, which means that we start to get this drive, this moving forward. Kind of like that, which, if I was to play the alternative and play a straight 4/4 and accent on the beats all the time, it would sound like this. So you can start to hear and feel the difference between those accents. One of them is driving along, and I'm playing at the same tempo here. The first one wasn't faster than the second one, but the second one will sound slower because we haven't got the accents on the offbeat. So it's like marching, and I've mentioned this in other videos before. If you start accenting the offbeat, it's when your foot would be in the air. It gives you a jump, it gives you a lift, rather than stomping your foot down on the beat all the time. And that's something that artistically, musically, compositionally, you might want to have. a stamping feel to the rhythm, or you want to have something that's driving along and giving you the energy of those offbeats, which is exactly what we've got here. The other thing that we've got in here are the variations that Billy's throwing in there, and don't worry too much about getting these down exactly because he'll be throwing these in as and when he feels like it. Of course, you can watch the whole video and get them down exactly if you want to, but it's all based around this open D string rhythm. So having this all around there, and remember that this you've got all of your notes running down that G string that you can play along with that open D, and pretty much that is what's happening, that Billy will be breaking off from that rhythm into a little line on that G string, and that is it. It's just whatever he feels like playing at that time. But let's get back into the performance, and then we can jump into the analysis of Ian's vocals.
Fire in your eye, in your life. Fire in your eye, keep me alive. Sure how you find sanctuary. Sure how you find sanctuary. In the world.
And there we have it, with a nice little bit of feedback there at the end from Billy. And just getting into the vocals, because Ian is one of those singers that has such a distinct vocal, and there are many reasons for this, but we will jump into some of what I think are the main reasons for it, because he's got that vibrato that goes above the note. It is something that I've referred to in other videos about in mainstream genres and pop singers who vibrato below the note and then go back up to the note. And that's just called going flat with the vibrato in pitch and then going back on pitch. And what we have here is the increase in pitch. So we're going sharp, which means it's going above the note and going below the note and then being on pitch. So this is a technique that you see in classical music as well, and classical singing. It's a very dramatic vibrato, It is something that people will start to think, what, you're talking about rock music, hard rock music, even heavy metal, that have the same techniques as classical singers and classical music, and it is the same thing. These techniques cross over, especially when you get great singers in bands. So this application of vibrato going above the note means that Ian's voice is going to sound different, it's going to sound unique, and it's arguably going to be more interesting to listen to, considering the other singers around who might just be dipping below that pitch with their vibrato. That's even if they do apply vibrato to their held notes. But I have queued up an example of this because we've got not only the vibrato at the end, but I've slowed this down so that you can get an appreciation of Ian's pitch and how bang on he is with all of the notes that he's hitting, but then he's intentionally applying his own unique vibrato to go sharp of the note. So let's have a little listen to this and listen out for that vibrato at the end. I might cue up another example that might be a little bit clearer after this. And there we have it, that application of pitch accuracy that we have. It's that the word and the word, yeah, just na 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 na. It is so spot on. And let me just try and apply that vibrato at the end as well. So we've got the word and the word, yeah, that jump up, yeah. That's what's happening with the note. I have just queued up another part of the video that shows the vibrato a little bit more clearly, and it is slowed down, so it's going to sound a little bit weird again, but try and listen out for the pitch of that vibrato when Ian adds it in. And it is definitely touching that note above, a semitone above the note that he's hitting pitch-wise, that backbone, yeah, yeah. When it is slowed down, it exaggerates it more, but when Ian throws it together, it's so natural, and that's why his vocal is so unique. It's that perfect pitch that he's got. It's not auto-tuned, it's not super perfect and mechanical sounding. Is that expression that he's got in there. He is what you would consider pitch perfect with his application and his execution of the notes that he's hitting, but then as soon as that vibrato comes in, that is the personality, that's the trademark of that unique performer. That is something that will give it their personality. Just to point out as well, the way that Ian is applying this vibrato and going sharp of the note, if somebody was singing constantly sharp, it would sound just as bad and awkward to listen to as somebody singing constantly flat. The important thing about Ian is he nails the notes between the eyes before he applies the vibrato, which means that you get to hear that note dead on pitch, and then you can hear the expression at the end of the note. But this is one of those analysis videos that could go on for years, and I can feel that this video's already gone on for ages. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to get into the background behind the Cult as a band and their history, so I'll have to revisit it in the future where I can cover all of that. But thank you guys so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at, and keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!